This is a review of the Lumos Smart Helmet, which is a project that I backed on Kickstarter, and it was a kind of an interesting project because it's one of the very few, I feel at least on Kickstarter, where the creators actively sought the input of the backer community to deliver the best product that they possibly could. So whilst there were delays to the product development, I actually feel that the outcome was that they came to market with a significantly superior product than the concept they'd started with, and I'm pleased to say I've got it. So here is the helmet itself. As you can see, it's got a LED light displays at the back here, which I'll go through in a minute, show you how they work, and also a light at the front as well. The helmet itself is like a traditional helmet. Obviously, just put it on. It's got a single clip. Let's see if I can just turn around. It's got a single clip tightening and untightening mechanism, and actually that means it's very easy to tighten, and it actually tightens very uniformly, which is really good. So it's not that one side of the helmet suddenly gets tightened or whatever. My only thought in terms of the way it sits is I do feel that somehow it sits a little bit high on the head. As you can see, there's quite a big gap there. I personally prefer a helmet that has a slightly lower profile over the forehead there, but I suppose in terms of the use case that I'm doing, which is to use it on a commute, then it's fairly decent. It's always fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. The unit itself has a battery here. Sorry, a battery charger here. So this is not USB. This is a magnetic charger, which is proprietary to this helmet. Actually, they were looking at USB, and they decided to not go with USB, and the reason was that basically they worried about water ingress, which seems like a really reasonable reason not to do it. So this kind of magnetic approach means that there's much less chance of water getting in and seeping into the battery and stuff like that. So it's one of those nice little design cues that actually I think works okay. And actually the charger is fine. It's not that big a deal to charge it up. And in fact, they use exactly the same charging mechanic for that as they do for the remote, which I'll talk about in a second as well. So the helmet itself has a power button here. So if I press that, you can see, there we are, it turns on, and then you'll see that the lights come on. Now at the moment we've got all of them on at the back there, and if I turn around you can see the lights at the front as well. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of the helmet in use now. So at the moment, as you can see, I've got the helmet, the lights are on. Don't worry about those stop lights coming. I'll talk about that in a second. But basically I'm cycling along, if you can imagine, and if I hit the left hand button, i.e. the indicator to go left, I press that, and you can see that the helmet is now indicating that I'm going left. And if I look at the front of the helmet, it's also indicating that I'm going left from the front of the helmet too. If I to then stop the indicating, I simply press the left button again and it stops. If I'm going right, same again, and stop it, I press it there again. So that's the wireless controller. The reason those lights keep flashing up is there's actually a feature on this helmet which is really rather good, which is using the accelerometer function in the controller. So if it senses motion and then you stop, then the automatic brake lights come on. So it's actually a feature that you can turn on and off as well. So and they're currently working through it in beta at the moment, but it's kind of interesting that you can also provide this extra information to drivers that you're actually coming to a stop, which is kind of interesting too. As I said, the lights are really quite bright and very effective at illuminating you in traffic. The unit itself, obviously it doesn't guide your path or anything, the lights are not that strong, but certainly it does enhance your visibility. Other things to note are that the unit also came with a wired controller, so you can actually install a permanent rig on a bike, and then you've got your cradle there, and then the remote itself can just come in and clip in very simply. So you can actually move the controller between bikes, and it means that you've got a controller permanently on one of the bikes if you want it. And that also comes with a left and a right thumb button as an extension, so if you're on drop handlebars, for example, you can actually have them on the handlebars near the drops, and control the left and right from there without having to come back up to the main unit to do left and right there, which is also, again, another pretty fantastic design feature. The helmet itself is obviously heavier than usual helmets, which as you can expect. There's a lot of tech going on in here, and but it doesn't feel overly heavy, and I use it predominantly in London, and I have to say it's absolutely fine for that. I'm just going to take you through the app as well, because that's worth showing you. So here you can see the Lumos app. It shows you I'm connected to the helmet and also the wireless controller. It tells me how much battery is on each of them, so I've got plenty of charge left. I can also change different settings for the helmet here. So in this case, the turn signal beeping, I've got minimal, less frequent, or more frequent. So at the moment I've got it just bleeps when I actually trigger it, but you can have it that it keeps reminding you that you've got the indicator on, because actually a lot of people forget they've got it on, and then that's actually could be very counterintuitive to drivers if you're indicating you're not actually turning. The app is available for both iOS and Android, so it's got good coverage there in terms of the smartphones, and there are other settings as well, such as warning lights activation. So this is whether or not you that feature that I showed you about the accelerometer, whether that's there or not, and you can change the sensitivity of it as well, which is pretty good. So and then there's the obligatory firmware update mechanic. Obviously this has got to have some firmware, so as they make improvements to the helmet, we can get updates over the air, which is also another really good feature. I'm currently up to date on version 2.4. So in a nutshell, that is the Lumos helmet. I'm really happy with this product. I think certainly in London, where I cycle to work from the train station and back, I've noticed that I will certainly be given more consideration by drivers when I'm wearing this helmet. It almost seems like there's a respect that I'm wearing it, and people kind of show that through a more considerate way of driving around me. Having said that, obviously it'd be kind of nice if that wasn't the case, but that's the reality of the world we live in. So certainly I don't mind wearing the helmet in London. The wireless controllers are great, because it does mean you just carry these on. You basically, excuse me, you use these ties here just to whack them onto the handlebar. It literally takes me about 10 seconds when I get a Boris bike in London, whack it on the handlebar, and then off I go. So it's really dead easy. So that's really it in terms of the Lumos helmet. It comes in different colours, blue, black and white, I think, off the top of my head. And yeah, it's certainly been one of the more successful campaigns, I think, in terms of providing an end product. And yeah, I'd certainly recommend it. If you have a look in the description below, have a look. There is a referral code. If you use that referral code, then I do get a bit of a kickback from you purchasing the product, but you also get a discount as well. So everybody's a winner in that regard. So if you are interested in the Lumos helmet, please do look at that too. If you've got any questions, please do ask. If you've got any questions, then please do ask underneath, and I'll try and respond to those. And thanks very much for watching.